I'm like, wrong sport, buddy. Zach Gallen's interesting. Ton of potential, right? Ton of potential. We'll see what happens with him this year. You kind of thought last year Miami jugged their feet, bringing him up. Sorry, you're catching me off guard. He's in Arizona now, correct, Malpo? I certainly heralded him last year coming up. I know his numbers weren't eye-popping once he did finally get called up. I am obviously stalling. But the fact of the matter is, it's just 24 years old. You know what? Again, surprised. 3-6, which you understand, right? 2.81 ERA. You gotta love that. Looks like with Arizona, he was 2.89. So it looks like he pitched about the same amount in Miami as he did Arizona. He had 96 Ks last year. You gotta like those numbers. 80 innings pitched. I like it, man. I like it. So, Zach Gallen's another one of those guys. One of those young, high up. He's definitely a second bucket guy. We could be talking about him as I didn't realize he pitched 96 innings last week. 86 or 80 innings last year. That's a lot. He pitched he pitched an additional 91 in the minors. So he pitched almost 170 innings last year. His arm's built up. That's the point, right? That's what you're looking at there. So he can handle the innings. Yu Darvish, again. I put Yu Darvish on here because it's important to look at statistics, and it's important to sometimes differentiate first half and second half. Yu Darvish last year through July 4th was 2-4 with a 5.0 ERA. He had 111 strikeouts, 49 walks, and 97 innings pitched. "49 walks and 97 innings is not good. 5.01 ERA is not good. From July 4th on, you had 7 walks. 7 walks and 81.2 innings pitched. 2.76 ERA. Now, what do you do with that? I don't freaking know. Does that mean he's found his niche? He's found his groove? He's back to being the Yu Darvish we remember back with the Rangers? I wouldn't say that necessarily. Do you expect him to come out and have a 5.0 ERA in the first half again? I'd say that's not probable. But I take Yu Darvish, but I take him with a grain of salt. So, it's funny. I'm ADD, so when I'm doing these lists, I kind of go off on these tangents, if you will. These guys are high upside guys. Call up guys and high upside guys. Malpow, it's funny. You do your research, and you don't realize sometimes what you have, what's coming up. Second guy on this list, Zach Gallen. He's under the high upside bucket, buddy. So let's start. Jesus Luzardo, 22 years old. Last year was supposed to be the ace out of spring training. Had an unfortunate injury. It kept him out most of the year. He had a setback. At 22 years old, though, this kid is ready to dominate. 3-pitch pitcher, 3+ pitches, big left-handed pitcher. Look for him to be the ace of that staff this year. At least in numbers, okay? 127 ADP puts him right around the 10th, 11th round. There's value there. I would take him at that point. I lie, he was third. No, he was second. Zach Gallen, 129 ADP, 24 years old. Now I'm going to say it with confidence. 2-3 with a 2.89 ERA. We talked about him. We won't go into. I really do like him. I think that Arizona's got a pretty good offense. I look for him to get pretty good run support out there in the desert. And one of the biggest things is learn from one of the best crafty pitchers in the game, in Matt Bum. Right? Matt Bum throws hard, but he knows how to get people out. He knows how to work counts. He's a smart pitcher. That'll help him. How about Lance McCullers? Andrea talked about him a little bit this morning. I'm a Lance McCullers fan. His curveball is lights out. This is a guy who will probably improve as the year goes on as he returns from injury. 189 ADP. I look for that to fall because I look for him not to be heavily involved in spring training. People forget in 2018, he was 10-6 with a 3.86 ERA. He's just 26 years old. Dustin May, I mentioned him earlier. He's kind of in that cluster in LA. I think Dustin May and Tony Gonsolin and I just said his name. The other guy, the third pitcher, Dustin May. Luis Urias, my favorite of the three, are all in the same bucket. I took May out of this group because I feel it at 242. He will definitely get plenty of opportunities to pitch in the rotation. He will be protected from pitching too many innings because they have such great depth. And that should be looked at as a benefit, right? That's a positive. It's not a negative. Okay, you might have to bench him a couple starts while he pitches out of the bullpen. But he's going to get his share in the rotation. Therefore, he's going to have added wins. He's going to have more strikeouts, right? 242 ADP, 20th round pick. I take Dustin May every time. How about, here's one, Griffin Canning. I love Griffin Canning. His ERA was a little inflated last year, 4.58, but you have to think he pitched last year at age 22. 96 Ks and 90 innings pitched. Again, just 23 years old. His ADP is 222. These are the guys I'm talking about. Value later on in the draft. Here's where you're building your depth, right? These are guys that if he hits, you're sitting pretty, right? What do you guys think of that list? Let's do a deep dive. Okay? Again, my OCD kind of gets through here sometimes. I got 10 minutes. I want to talk about 5 more pitchers, and then I'll get out of your hair. I appreciate y'all stopping by and enjoying this with me. I hope you've enjoyed this content. Please don't go. I'm not done. I've got a few more pitchers to talk about. These are your real lottery tickets, right? Timothy Hooker, welcome. Thanks for stopping by. I appreciate having you. I'm not saying to draft all these guys. I want to start out by saying this. I'm not saying to necessarily target these guys. But what I am saying is understand that the potential's there for these guys to have really good years. The first one I want to talk about, Pablo Lopez. Pablo Lopez, ADP is 329. He's just 23 years old. Again, he falls in that same bucket as Sandy Alcantara. Look for them to be much improved this year. And look for Lopez to be a big part of it. 23 years old, 5-8, 5.09 ERA, again, is a little inflated. That will go down. 169 Ks and 65 walks and 184 innings pitched. Sorry, That's Reynaldo Lopez. I'm looking at the wrong line. Let me give you the correct stats. Pablo Lopez, 5-8, 5.09 ERA. Those were correct. 95 Ks, 27 walks, almost a 4-to-1 K to walk ratio, and 111 innings last year. 329 is his ADP, which puts him right around the 25th round. I'm just spitballing that. In a 12-round league, that, fellas, is value, right? To continue, how about, I already gave you half his stats. How about Reynaldo Lopez, guys? Again, much like his teammate Lucas Giolito, Lopez has a ton of potential, has shown glimpses of it, gives you a high strikeout rate. The 5.38 ERA is a little alarming. He's a little bit late on, again, 26 years old. But I think that with, again, that improved offense in Chicago on the south side, Lopez could really benefit from that. Okay? 307 ADP. Again, if you're looking for bench depth, you could certainly do a lot worse than Reynaldo Lopez. Guys, I can no longer see the chat room. At least not on my laptop. Let's see if I can't remedy that. How about some of these guys? See, what about Mike Fulton-Avich? Mike Fulton-Avich is one of those guys. He kind of came on at the end of the year last year, right? His ADP is 198. He's 28 years old. That's a value, I think. I think he's better than 8-6. I think he's better than a 4.58 ERA. If he pitches well in spring training, I would say that probably goes up. Fulty's going to be on a really good team. He's going to get great run support. Maybe I'm back on the chat page. Okay. How about Andrew Heaney? Andrew Heaney, 28 years old. He's one of those guys every year. Oh, he's got a ton of potential. This could be we're back up. Yeah, Malpal. I love Pablo Lopez. Great minds, right? Don't steal him in a draft. I kid. Anyway, Andrew Heaney, 192 ADP. Real value there. 4.91 ERA. 4-6. 118 strikeouts and 95 innings pitched. I like this kid. Really broken up after the loss of his best friend last year. Totally spacing on the kid's name. I look for him to really kind of carry the torch this year for the Angels. The Angels added a lot of firepower this year. This is a good thing for Andrew Heaney. Don't forget, Shohei Ohtani's coming back. I can't give you an ADP on Shohei Ohtani because there's such a variable there depending on league format. And a lot of leagues where he's two different players, you can't use him as a pitcher. So you're telling me you can pick up Shohei Ohtani as a free agent 5 weeks into the season or whatever the hell it is to get him eligible? That's stupid. But I'm not talking about that's for a different day. I love Shohei Ohtani this year. People forget he has ace stuff. He can pitch complete game shutout anytime he goes out. But you have to know your format. It's important to know your format. I have him, like Lenny and I were talking this morning, I have him in a Fantrax Daily Moves League. And I can use him as a pitcher, and I can use him as a DH. I am flipping stoked about it. How about Sonny Gray, guys? Sonny Gray might be, a little step up from Fulty. Maybe not, though. They're kind of, you gotta love his situation, though. At just 30 years old, he's really looking like he's at a really